Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. We got a lot to talk about, people. As you know, the title suggests, Stefan celebrates 40 years as Days of Our Lives Steve Johnson. I really want to understand the backstory of how he played such an iconic character in Days and then decided to go to GH and then went back to Days. Like, I only knew him as Days. I didn't really know him. I mean, I only knew him as GH. I didn't know him as Days. But now that I kind of have a comparison, like, why did you leave? Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get the roll call and get this started. Amy is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Ryan, Jay's fans in the chat. How you doing tonight? Krista Ramirez is in the chat. How you doing tonight? At the bank is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Monique is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Tommy is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Carrie Ice Cream is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Ronnie Ron is in the chat. How you doing tonight? And what? Why does it always do that? Amber is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Tamara is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Queen of the South is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Lisa C is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Okay. Well, Ryan, Cat Lady couldn't come to the wedding. Tamara says, I recall Patch from the jump on Days. And Monique says, how did Patch become Patch on Days? Always seen and with a patch, but never knew how he got that patch. He got stabbed in the eye by Double C's in the chat. How you doing tonight? It was hard to watch, Ryan. It was actually very hard to watch. It was oh, Monique, it was great. Oh my God. Monique, that place was amazing. Um I had like the best sleep ever on that bed. In the shower. Oh my Lord, the shower was it was amazing. That place was amazing. We had our reception at a place called Cedar Crest, I think. Um, oh, and you're right, Ed. Yes, he also played Tucker McCall. Yes, but yeah, Monique. To answer that question, from what I understand, he got into a knife fight with what is his name? Bo. He got into a knife fight. What's good, Amber? He got into a knife fight with Bo, and that's how he lost his eye. No, Ron, I'm not excited for Aaron to come back. I never really cared for Aaron in the first place, so I'm not excited for him to come back. Okay, well, Ryan, that's your opinion. Um, that's cool. Well, Ron, I mean, it's not it's there's no black patch without John Black, so I understand that. Yes, Monique, thank you for asking. That marriage was amazing. I got a little clip of it though too. Yep, that's correct. Double C. He got into a knife fight with Bo. Where's my music and where's my drink? All right, music is check. Now, as you know, and I don't know why I have to keep Snither saying this, but just because there is 21 people in this chat, there is only one of me, and I'm not going to get to every single comment. So just understand that. Let's have a good time. And Double C says he also played, yes, Stephen Cassidy. Yes, that's who I knew it was a Cassidy. I didn't know which one though. That is correct, Stephen Cassidy. Ed said, Albert, in the previews, Drew's going to ask Willow to marry him, and she What? Okay, I didn't see the previews yet. I gotta sit there and watch the previews. Thank you for letting me know, Ed. Well, Ron, the thing is, like, we don't know if he's lying. He could be lying, and I wrote that in my notes. He could be lying, or he couldn't, or maybe he doesn't remember. Ron, maybe he doesn't remember. Yeah, it's weird. It's like that's the only previews that I forget to watch is General Hospital out of all previews, right? LaShawn is in the chat. Monique says Drew knows how Jason feels about him. Why would he go to Jason on Michael's behalf? If I was Jason, I would have told Drew to kiss my ass. And if you want to negotiate, talk to Michael yourself. Let's go, Warrior Hero. Let's go, Autumn. And Rihanna, how are you doing tonight? It is so good to see you. I hope you are doing well. It's good to have you. Well, the thing is, I understand why Drew went to go see Jason because originally he wanted to do the right thing. He was going to sit there and tell Jason that, listen, if you allow, if Michael allow Willow to see the kids, then I'll back off because Willow needs to see her kids. You know, Willow needs to see her kids, and I love her so much that I'm willing to sit there and take a step back. But Jason wouldn't give him the time of day, and you know, I'm well and glad to see. My day was good, Tommy. I was off today, so it was good. It's a good day. It's a good day. Um, Autumn says I'm a Jew is completely delusional. Um, Drew is completely delusional. Did he not hear what the judge said? Why Willow got her kids taken away from her? Michael never wanted to take the kids away from her. He wanted to compromise with her. And that's the thing. But see, the thing is, Autumn, yes, he became delusional afterwards. But originally, what people are seeming to forget is that originally he came in there and he wanted to sit there and try to work things out with Michael so this way Willow can see the kids. It was Jason that sat there and squashed that negotiation thing. I sat there and I looked at it side by. I can't spell exactly, Lisa, and I feel 100% the same way. I understand why Michael don't want Willow around the kids because Drew is there, and I get that because Drew is poison, like Jason said. But you take Drew out of the equation, yes, they need them up. Ariana says side by. I can't spell. I like Brooklyn had enough of Lou. Yeah, you gotta slap the taste out of people's mouths sometimes. You gotta do that. You got to do that because Lulu's the type of chick that will not shut up unless you shut her up. Tommy says Ashley don't care about Derek. She just wants her cake. Yeah, that's what he meant by stringing her along. Ed says Maxie's a real one. Yeah. The thing is, Tommy, Ashley's a time waster. I'm just gonna sit there and say this. Where here says Britt is being dragged into this. Yes, Derek does deserve better. Absolutely, Tommy, because Ashley is a time waster. I'm just gonna say, okay, I'm not even gonna read all that. I'm just gonna sit there. What's good, Tracy Steves? I'm just gonna say this. I said this in my comment section before, and I'll sit there and say this again. Let me tell you something. Let me just say this much, Ryan. You don't like Drew. Anything that Drew says, it doesn't matter if it's correct or not. You're still not going to sit there and take his side on anything. Okay, you will never admit that Drew is right about anything. Any type of conflict or conversation he has with anyone, Drew is always going to be in the wrong. So when I saw you in the comment section and you said that, and I made a comment and I replied to you, I kind of regretted that because I realized that it doesn't matter what Drew says, he's always going to be in the wrong in your eyes. So and that's fine, whatever. Um, Ron says you forgot to talk about Jennifer and Jack. Also, I didn't forget to talk about them because I didn't do a review on them. But I will sit there and say this much though about Jennifer and Jack. What's good, Tracy Steves? It's good to see you. But that's not the okay, Krista. But see, the thing is though, yeah, but he's not always wrong. The thing is, Krista, regardless of somebody, if you like a character or not, or if I like a character or not, um, ooh, can we kind of refrain from using the F word, Ryan? Because I would really appreciate that. What's good, my gorgeous queen Janet? How are you doing tonight? I hope you're well. Had a heck of a weekend and Monday, yeah. But that's the thing now, Krista. Like, you cannot like somebody and still admit when they're actually right. It doesn't make you like them anymore or whatever, but you know. What's good, Big Nate? They were good. They were good. Yeah, Ryan, that's cool. Let's just try to refrain from dropping an F bomb. Feel like you're starting to get a little too riled up. Um, Autumn says Michael and Willow would have compromised if Drew would have stayed out, blocking Willow from seeing Michael in Germany. Willow believed Drew over her own kids. Yeah, exactly, and that was definitely out of pocket. Um, yes, thank you, Tommy. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Ryan. I get it. It's here to have fun, Ryan. Let's just kind of remember that, okay? Crystal says, I agree that Martin is the new Scotty. Yes. Ed says, like I said in my review, Ashley and Derek relationship story needs to be showed the state of relationship today and how people like yes, I remember you said that. And yeah, you're 100% correct on that. This is not going down. Ron says Phoenix said that in his video that he's not enjoying Young and the Restless because they're dragging out who Demar says. Yo, they show what you call it, Jen J's in the chat. If only that was true. People don't act that way. Let's everyone say what's up to Jen J. Spiderquake is in the chat. Two things, Albert. So happy Britt's back and thing. Um, Brooklyn Lucky, Maxie, held Lulu down. Oh, held Lulu down. Lulu would have whooped Brooklyn, and she's weak as F. Lulu didn't have a scratch. You know, I knew you were going to bring that energy. I knew you were going to bring that energy. Krista says, who is Demas? Here's the thing. They show Billy Flynn. They show Billy Flynn. Um, Yeah, and yeah, I was just gonna sit there and say they showed Billy Flynn. I don't know if he's Dumas, but he was in the preview scene. In the previews, um, everyone's in the train. He's looking at them, so he could be Dumas. But they did show him, I think, today. Hey, people got to eat. Shit. I mean, let's be honest. I'll take a fat paycheck over over, something like a conscience. I'm not, my conscience isn't feeding me. Iran says, I'll be back to Jennifer and Jack. Yeah, I kind of thought I already talked about that. They need to move on because Abigail remains isn't going to be found. Oh yeah, I forgot about Abigail's remains. Well, thank you for reminding me about that. Monique says, "Do you mind mystery reminds me of that movie, Invitation to Murder or White Lotus, how they all get a mystery invitation to a big." Yes, that's exactly what you call it said. That's what Michael Fairman said on his Twitter page. He said it felt like White Lotus. And they're going to, exactly, and they're going through a maze and everything like that, which I give them a certain level of props. Okay, he actually, he actually seemed like they put in some thought, into the sets and everything like that. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. I mean, I think it's kind of like, I don't know who the hell he thinks he is. Like, I'm gonna be running through a goddamn maze like I'm some sort of rat looking for cheese. Like, this motherfucker done lost his mind. Yes, Ed. Okay, now Ed says, I'm over Jennifer bringing up Cat. I usually like seeing Jack and Jennifer, but they need to leave. Yeah, they need to go back to their. I mean, listen, no offense to anyone that lives in Chicago. I don't hear good things about Chicago. Okay, they call it Chicago Chirac. Okay, so I should tell you the truth. Jack and Jennifer need to sit there and take their dusty ass back to their shitty little town and stay going for a while. Okay, because yeah, like Ed says, what's good, Laura B? Let's everyone say what's up to Laura B. Like like Ed said, like yo, I'm sick and tired of Jennifer acting like a goddamn Karen, putting her nose and shit where it don't belong. And girl, shut up. He can go out whoever the hell he wants. Um, Now more about Beyond the Gates. Did anyone else? Well, who watched Beyond the Gates today? Who watched Beyond the Gates today? I didn't give two shits about the Chelsea scene. Okay. You watched? Okay, okay, Cherry. Okay, Tommy. I didn't give two shits about the Chelsea scene. Um, and I think I start to understand why I don't like. Oh, I'm gonna get to you in a second. I'm starting to understand why I don't like Chelsea. I went to high school with chicks like her. I can't stand chicks like her. I really can't. A bunch of vapid ass. Ugh. Spikeworks says another reason why I like Lulu because she's relatable. Why should Lulu apologize for being right? Well, then clearly you missed the point. What's good, Tom Tom? Then clearly you missed the point. You clearly missed the point. Here's the thing. She don't care. Lulu don't care about the pain and suffering that she caused Brooklyn. She don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, she don't feel that she was wrong in any sense of way. And the thing was, she was wrong. Lulu was fucking wrong, and she didn't care about how she hurt Gio. So I understand Brooklyn's anger. And the fact of the matter is, it's not. Lulu's sister didn't act like, oh, it's not my fault. I didn't lie. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Like, goddamn, girl, you don't take accountability for anything. So yeah, I understand exactly why Lulu slapped the goddamn taste out of. I mean, Brooklyn slapped the taste out of Lulu's mouth because she acts very arrogant, very sanctimonious. So she did something messed up, and it's not her fault. So like, honestly, tell you the truth, that chick can go right back in the goddamn coma. Like she is just on one. What's good, Dolomedics? Laura B says I was happy for Chelsea. She seems happy. I just I don't yeah. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Chelsea. Um I like Kat and Eva. Yeah, I like Kat way more than I like Chelsea. And I think that Kat can be insufferable at times. Spider, I really don't care. I don't, I'd rather them sit there and focus on the characters they have than bringing her back. They're bringing back Erica Slazak. I don't know if you watched More Like Live, but they're bringing another character back. And I'm like, you brought Jonathan Jackson back, and that didn't really do too much. Like, that's the thing I like. And also, it's like, why are they going to sit there and bring Britt back and she's supposed to be dying from Huntington's disease? Now, Monique says Brooklyn should have brung up Lulu's past. Weren't you pregnant with Dylan, baby? He never knew you had an abortion. Hmm. Oh my lord. How is your man still a good man? No, Tommy. I was, I was clearly, I was. I forgot what they call that. No, I forgot what they call that. I'm gonna get back to that in a second. What was I doing? I was just trolling y'all, Tommy. I mean, I was just trolling y'all, Tom. I didn't understand where he was going with that until towards the end, and when he brought up the picture. When he brought up the picture, and I was like, I understood where he's going with that. Domex says, I'm just indifferent to Chelsea. I don't hate her, but I don't find her interesting. I don't hate Chelsea. Here's the thing. I don't hate any character. Yeah, exactly. I was just trolling. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. Tom. I was just trolling. Um, hey, listen, you gotta make a living. You gotta make a living. So, he's a lawyer. And I'm not sitting there saying, Ryan, that all lawyers are bad. I'm just sitting there saying he's a lawyer. So it is what it is. Yeah, I was just trolling. Has Chelsea ever been for both teams? Lori says Brooklyn has brought up the past abortion up already. Lulu says she doesn't judge her choice, but she had a problem with not telling Dante. Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that. But I felt like she really did. I felt like she did that more because she couldn't stand Brooklyn. Like I feel like if it was anybody else that she didn't have that type of history, there's a good chance that she might have not did that. You know? Yeah, that's true, Ryan. I would sit there and say that much, but I I guess so, Ryan. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really interested in Aaron. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, tell you the truth, I don't even care about Sophia. You know, like they changed her character, they mellowed her down. Like, I don't really care. So yeah, that's just how I look at it. Ariana and Ryan. Yeah, she did it. She did it more out of spite. And the thing is, it's like it wasn't her business. And the thing is, she kept simply trying to make it seem like, oh well, that's my business. Dante had a right to know, and Rocco had a right to know. It's like Tomax says the bad thing is I feel nothing when I see Chelsea. At least if she was a love and hate type character, she would be good. I actually care about Ashley and Derek more. Yeah, they were interesting to me, right? They were interesting to me. Um, you know, person that they're saying that she's not ready. I'm like, girl, you've been with him for 2 years. And part of me sat there and said, for Derek, if she couldn't agree to move in with you, then what made you thought that she was ready to marry you? I hope not, Ron. I'm not exactly a fan of those type of stories. Regardless, if I don't really care about the character, I'm not really a fan of miscarriages and stuff like that. I know that they have to show them, and I understand that. But what's good, Jonathan? Uh, Tomax says Ashley is neurotic mess, but at least it's a legit personality trait they can do something with now. Yes, yes. My girl, how you gonna sit there and say that you don't know if you are ready to, I mean, you're not ready to sit there and marry him. You've been with him for 2 years. What are y'all doing? You just sit there. It sounds like you just wasting time. That's my whole thing. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that what you call it walked away. I'm so glad that Oh yeah, no, Jonathan. I'm not even paying attention to that shit. I don't know what he keeps going on with that. Yeah, she's a time waster, and she turns. And the thing is, like I said, Ashley turns good men into assholes. That says what pissed me off about Lulu is she once said she knew it was. LaShawn, that's been a question for a hot minute. Is Aaron the father of her baby? Yes. Once a woman Ashley's age knows if she sees a man as a potential husband. Women don't mess around like that. She just don't want him and won't admit it. Yes, she wants somebody around, but she don't necessarily want to commit to him. You know? It seems like I don't. Well, Ron, Sophia's mom has a husband. So Amy Cho is married. What pissed me off about Lulu is she said once she knew it was Gio, she had to tell. She had a whole chartboard with notes getting information about Brooklyn. This was about her hate for BLQ. Yes. Yeah, vendetta. As we've been saying in the chat so far. Yes. Yeah, Tommy. Yes. You don't sit there and waste good men's time. Remember the first episode when he made her breakfast and took her to work and was pretty much cheering her on during her first day at work? That's what a good man is. She didn't appreciate a good man. So now she gets to sit there and hang out with sleazy ass Andre. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's part of the reason. But if we're going to be honest, Willow made the choices that she made. She's not an idiot. She's a grown ass adult. And that's the one thing that annoyed me about Nina is that she sits there and she tries to act like Willow didn't do anything wrong and it was all Drew's fault. And I'm like, nah, girl, we're not going to be doing that shit. Ariana says Brooklyn's Mama Bear kicked in when Lulu hurt her son. Exactly, and she don't seem to understand that. Yes, like I said in my review, she sat there playing the victim and crying like, "Oh my God, he broke my heart." I'm like, you're the one that sat there and wasted his time for 2 years and rejected his marriage proposal, but he's the asshole. He gave you an ultimatum. Exactly, Ryan. Filmax says, I can't wait to watch Ashley waste Andre's time. They deserve each other. They effing deserve each other. Ron says, I don't have an issue with Aaron being the father of Sophia's baby. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, Ron. Thank you for telling me that. But yes, we're not going to sit there and try to act like this is all Drew's fault. The judge laid it out very clear why she lost her children. And for some odd reason, people are like, this is all Drew's fault because I hate Drew. Oh my God. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Also, I'm gonna sit there and say a little rumor. Well, I heard a rumor, and I normally don't like to spread these rumors, but Ed, as he should, right? As he should. And she tried to turn it around and try to make it seem like, oh well, why does it have to be one or the other? Because I said so. That's why. Because it's been 2 years into this relationship. So yes, it's going to be one way or the other. You don't want to sit there and hop on board my program? You can go bye bye. Bobby says Willow insisted she was not a victim. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, she definitely wasted his time. And he was like, I'm not, not dealing with that. But yeah, I heard that Cameron Madison or Matt Madison or whatever his name is leaving the show. And so for all the people that's like, oh my God, I can't stand Drew. I wonder who y'all gonna hate on now if he leaves. If he leaves the show, I guess y'all gonna have to sit there and find somebody else to pour that, all that energy onto, that dark energy onto. And that's gonna be the real test. That's gonna be the real test. Like, oh my God, I can't stand Drew. Okay, well now he's not there. So who's next? Brad Cooper's care. Yeah. Domex says now that Derek is away from Ashley, I need him to befriend a desperate Haley who ends up using him to get pregnant. Hmm. That will be soapy. That will be soapy. That would actually start to make me care a little bit more about doing these reviews. Because, to be honest, part of me was kind of snipped there. As I was watching it today, I was just like, the minute, and I think it was like the minute I saw Chelsea, because whenever I see Chelsea on Beyond the Gates, I feel like the episode just sinks like a goddamn stone in the water. And I'm just like, should I review Days of Our Lives today? Or should I review The Young and the Restless today? I already started my notes, so I was like, okay, whatever. I love how you keep something saying I forget to mention. I didn't forget to mention anything. I'm talking about literally 5 soap operas. I didn't forget to mention. I just didn't get to it. Um, but yes, they talk more about Johnny being a possible shooter to EJ. Um, you know, okay, since we're talking about days, thank you, Ron. Since we're talking about days, 40 years of Steppen playing Steve on Days of Our Lives. 40 goddamn years. And I did actually like the flashbacks. The flashbacks was cool. I like the flashbacks. Let me tell you something. Seeing Kayla's hair, the 80s style, was everything to me. Like literally. And the thing I like about Steve is his lingo. He still has that 80s vibe lingo. Belmac says, could you imagine the first couple of months after that baby is born, with Haley trying to convince Bill that the baby is just light skinned like Bill? Uh, it is. It is to sit there and play one character, to be on a show for that long, Norby, to have that type of work ethic and everything like that, and you know, Ariana says, I remember Patch. I remember when he showed Kayla his eye for the first time. Yeah, I think they actually played that today. Oh my God, Ryan says, stop it, Albert. You're in denial and deflecting. I'm in, I'm in denial and deflecting. Wow, that's a very accurate, Ryan. Very accurate. So glad that you called me out on that. It was so hilarious. I couldn't even be bothered to finish reading the rest of that sentence. But it was hilarious, Ron, and I appreciate that. Exactly, Domex. I've always gave Days more credit than I've always gave Days more credit than G because I always felt like they knew how to use their veterans. LaShawn says Albert in the promo of Days of Our Lives, Bo and Hope are leaving Salem, but they will be coming back. Yes, very true. I saw the previews Friday. I came back. Monique says Willow will say, yeah, because in her mind, Drew is the only one that can save her. But I hope she says, no, I need to sit there and see these damn previews. That's what I need to do. Thank you for reminding me, Monique. By the way, let's see how many likes we have. Oh, 15 likes, and we got 31 people in the chat. So, for the other half, I hope that, hit the like button because it does help out. It seriously does. Okay, I love how Drew just sit there and springs marriage onto her. Like she didn't just lose her goddamn kids. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you. I love how Drew springs marriage on her. Like she didn't. Like she's not going through probably among the worst days of her lives. Among. And he's like, well, let's get married. What the? Ed says once they learn about Chelsea, one thing we learned about Chelsea is that she didn't come out to Bill and finding reasons not telling him. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I mean, um, I was looking at my phone and I was looking at stuff that I'm not going to mention here, but I do remember her sitting there saying that. That's probably right. You have a point. You have a point, Ariana. You have a point. Tommy says, "Do you think Vanessa and Doug will break up?" No, they have this very weird relationship that I would never understand. Tommy says that's your good dude. Oh, Tom, that's funny. Hey, listen, I said stuff that I won't say. I won't say, Ryan. Okay, wherever. Listen, I can't be helpful for y'all dirty minds. Could have been saying anything. I could have been listening to you talking about looking at some new boobs. See, Ryan, when you're like this, you like talking to you, Ryan. You start getting all, you know, Drew's this and Drew's that and Michael. That's where I start to tune up. And when you're like this, try to stay like that a little bit, Ryan. I would appreciate that. Now, how come you weren't at my boy Kyrie's stream? I was checking out the stream, Ryan. I was like, yo, where's Ryan at? I know I told Ryan about Kyrie's streams, like what's going on. Yeah, I was looking at some new boots. I like boots, Ryan. I think boots are awesome. But no, Tommy, I don't think that they're gonna break up. They have this weird, like, epic relationship where they're just like, eh, you know what this is, and I'm too lazy to find someone. You're too lazy to find someone. Okay, Ryan. Okay, well, I appreciate that. And Ryan is, and Brock TV is the goat, so he got me started doing these reviews and stuff. So I understand. And it says Drew wants to go to war with members of his family. He still wants the I will never understand why he wants to call me last name. I don't get that. You don't even like anyone there, and yet you want their last name. Like, what kind of weird shit is that? I was like, yo, and what's good, Jillian? Drew is so desperate, he really about to go crazy and do something drastic. Yeah. Dominic says, I oddly like Vanessa today. That whole I'm unfaithful, I'm not disloyal line was fine. See, this is why I rock with you, Dominic. This is why I rock with you. Because I don't know if you saw my Ryan. Let me tell you something. Susan Lucci is awesome. Um, it was. I'm telling you, Ryan. I don't know if you watched All My Children, but like, I swear I was sitting there talking to Erica Kane. It was kind of weird, but it was awesome at the same time. Though. And like I said, she's very down to earth. What's good, Sir Charles? She's a very chill person. But yeah, um, oh no, she is Ryan. Like I said, she's very down to earth. Like, nah, she's definitely a classy lady. You can go out and sit there and have a latte with. But see, that's the thing though, Max. Like, when she said that, she was like, "I'm unfaithful. I'm not disloyal." I was like, that's kind of the same thing to me. Like, how are you going to sit there and say, "I'm unfaithful, but I'm not disloyal"? It's the same goddamn thing. Like, that's literally the same thing to me. Like, oh yeah, she actually did wear a dress. She actually did. Um, she dressed, like how most women would sit there and dress her hair and makeup looking on point. So, it's just like I said, Ryan. It was just the first time I saw it. It was, I don't know. It's hard to explain it. Ron says, "Cat lady is at the doctor's appointment. Why aren't you with her, Albert? You're a deadbeat." Oh, thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. I'm a deadbeat. She's carrying your baby. I'm pretty sure Cat Lady would love to sit there and hear that. Domex says Vanessa remembering to still go home with the person who brought her to the dance is why I rock with her. She still has Doug's back. That's the craziest ride or die relationship I've ever. I'm sorry. Let me try this again. Oh, that's right. That's what's up. I like well, I like Weird Al Yankovic. Oh, let me let me try to go. Vanessa, Vanessa's remembering to still go home with the person who brought her to the dance and have sex with almost everybody in town is why I rock with her. She still has Doug's back while getting her back blown out by every other man that she runs across. That's the craziest ride or die relationship I've ever seen. I'm just gonna just 1 second. Uh, I know you don't mind this. Hold on, let me just, here we go. That's good. Good. I like that. Yes. Yes, LaShawn. I don't know exactly what time, but I'll look it up for you in a second. And it says, I like that Vanessa told Jerry all you have to do is ask, and what hard with how this was going to go and get her and Doug a good percentage out of the cut. Yeah, she's she's so uh oh Ron, I'm gonna talk about that next. Thank you, Ron. Ironically you pointed out something. Dominic says, hey, I said she was going home with the person who brought her to the dance. I never said she didn't have a lot of sex with other dudes at the dance. I like that. I like that. That was good. That was so good. That definitely redeemed that other comment. I'm still keeping that other comment on my phone from time to time. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that other comment on my phone for like a couple of days. That was good. That was good. I think that might have been a comment of the night. That was good. Oh, okay. He coming. He's on now. There we go. Oh, came on at 9. Yes, I did, Jonathan. I gotta sit there. Got my likes. Thank you, Lisa. What's Jonathan? What's that? I gotta sit there and watch that. I gotta watch all 5 of the shows. Yes, I did. I like the flashbacks of Steve on there. I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I gotta sit there and check out his channel. I haven't checked out his channel in a hot minute. I know he's been doing fights with these creds and stuff like that, but that reminds me. I'm gonna sit there and check, and maybe I'll do a video about that. Emma needs to be careful. Emma, Emma, I just don't like. I just don't like. I just don't like how the fact that people sit there. Yes, Jonathan, I did. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that next. Give me 1 second. Yes. Brian says we're our latest polka dot song was awesome. His polka dot song where he does a melody of his. Yes, I haven't listened to him in a hot minute, but I don't remember that song. I may have to go back and re-listen to it again. Larby, let me tell you something. I think Rummy's actually going to regret hanging out with Luna and like teaching her how to shoot when whatever, because she's going to do something crazy. And I think Remy may actually regret spending any time with her and stuff like that. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. It's funny. I do have a video that I'm trying to upload, It's pretty much one of his decoys, kind of spilling some secrets about working with Rami. So if, hopefully I can try to pull that off my Google Drive. But yes, he's the person that's like looking at the cameras and looking at like Victor and everybody and stuff. I don't know if he's going to be Dumas, but we did get to sit there and see him one year. And I am actually looking forward to it. Also, Jonathan, you know what I really, oh yeah, no, yeah, I'm definitely gonna sit there and try to. Thank you for reminding me. I'm definitely gonna sit there and try to upload that video because I had it for like about 2 years, and I never got a chance to actually upload it. So I will try to download it on my phone tonight. Yeah, LaShawn, I think he's on now. Um, yes, Lisa, still streaming. But Jonathan, you know what I liked also about this episode? Nate putting Holden on goddamn notice. Okay. Um, because Holden is still all upset and pissy and stuff like that. Like, oh my god, I got fired because of him. I was like, no, you got fired because Dumas is an asshole, and he tried to get you a job. And Holden's all like, oh well, I can take care of myself. I don't need a pity job. Okay, fine. And then he starts bringing up stuff. He starts bringing up stuff about Audra and their past and stuff. And Nate's like, okay, everyone has a past. I don't care. I don't care about your past. Like, you keep bringing it up. And he's like, you're annoying. And when he said that he's annoying, I was done. I was like, you know what? I'm starting to have a new respect for Nate. I'm starting to have a new respect for Nate at this point because he's like, bro, you keep trying to instigate shit. You keep saying that you're trying to get under my skin. Go find a hobby. You don't want to sit there and work and you don't want to work for a company. You can find other job prospects, or you can leave and go back to what you call it. Yes, Lisa, Kyrie's just streaming right now. He is streaming at this moment. So yeah, I did like that. Oh, and you know what? Thank you, Ron. Yeah, ironically, we'll go back to Y&R. But did anyone watch B&B? By the way, did anyone actually watch B&B, Bold and the Beautiful? Very curious if anyone watched it. Let me know. Ron says, do you know the song Wild from Cardi B and Megan? No. I mean, I've heard of it, but I never actually listened to it, though. No, I didn't actually listen to it. Oh, Ryan, you know that Erica Slazak is coming back on, right? Is coming to General Hospital. Lobby, what did you think of Born and Beautiful today? I'll be honest, I like the fact that Taylor called out Eric because I understand that Eric has a thing for Brooke and, they have a special relationship, but I felt like what he did was I felt like the way he's been acting towards Taylor has been very two-faced. Mostly for Luna, I'm so over Brooke calling Rich her destiny. Hey, listen, Nick Maroney's back. I don't know who Nick is, but I know this much. If Nick Maroney can get Brooke to stop begging Ridge to come back, I'll be happy. I'll be a happy man. Because I am so sick and tired of her constantly losing her dignity and self-respect to a man who would easily. Lisa says Catley is at the doctor. No, she's not at the doctor. She's not at the doctor. No, she's not sick. I saw her today, Lisa. She was in Renta Ricardo's stream. She might just be busy tonight though, because I haven't seen her in a couple of days, so she might be busy tonight. I'm gonna check on her though. Thank you for reminding me, Lisa. Wop isn't acting up for something I can't stand here. We're out Yankovic twisted it though into something hilarious. He used a drip sound, then a donkey sound, then a cat sound. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Thank you, Ron. I'm gonna look that up. Yes, exactly, Jonathan. Waffle House Leah. I mean Waffle House Rich. Technically, Liam used to be a waffle as well. Ariana says Nick is the other big love of Brooks' life. Okay, I gotta sit there and say this right now. They show some old classic scenes of Brooke, like when she was with Nick. That chick was fire. Like, god damn! I remember seeing an old school commercial of Catherine Kelly Lang. I'm like, that chick was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was still sit there and not booster with Brooke now. Brooke back then, god damn. I mean, she was like the definition of the blonde bombshell. Like literally, Brooke Logan back then was the definition of a bombshell. I am too, Lorby. I don't know who. Apparently, he's a singer, right? I met a head. I heard of Keisha Cole. Yeah, I probably listened to her stuff back then, but didn't really remember it. Back then, right? I was more hip hop and R&B. In all reality, exactly, exactly. Yeah, she was that chick. She was that chick. Well, Ariana says Eric was the first of the Forrester men Brooke went for. Yeah. Amada has said that courthouse meltdown from Rilla was hilarious. Okay. That's uh, yeah. Um oh yeah, that was just yeah, I didn't know they actually had a son. Jack, okay, I didn't know they had a son. I didn't know that was their son they were talking about. I thought that he was talking about like his son with another woman. Aubrey says, I still think it's weird that a son married his father's wife. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I like the fact that Taylor called Eric out on that. Like, yo, listen, you did that showstopper thing for Brooke. You want Brooke back with your son. And she was easy about it because, it's Eric. Like, I can't be mad at Eric because, he's like, he's like my old Santa Claus. Um, Ariana says, I thought Captain Caitlin did a great job. I will keep that episode and watch it on replay. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's funny. I was in Kyrisha's training. And, listen, everyone has their opinion about it. It is what it is. And, I respect people's opinions, even if I disagree with it. And, ironically, I got spoiled. I got spoiled because when I was at the wedding, so I didn't get a chance to watch during the hospital until the next day. So Tyrese and Smith, they talk about how Michael got the kids and won and everything. And it just seemed like everybody were super happy and they were laughing. They was like, "Oh, this is the best episode ever!" And like people were really happy that Willow lost her kids. And I'm just how is this shit supposed to be like I don't know. I could not like somebody, but not like relish in someone's misery like that. And I just felt this so, I guess, interesting that people were like talking. Oh, I was laughing. I felt it so funny when she broke down and started crying about losing her kids, and I'm like, okay, that was hella dark. I was like, okay, that's kind of dark, but okay. Yeah, I don't know, Bobby. I didn't find that funny, but I know how people. Have a good night, Cherry Ice Cream. It was really great to see you. I mean, listen, I don't. Even if I disagree with somebody, I'm not going to sit there and shit on somebody's opinion. It's their opinion. Like Laura B, like I understood why she lost her children. Right? The judge explained it. I sat there, was like, well, oh yeah, you were out of pocket for all those things you was doing. Now, granted, Laura B, when I watched it was early in the morning. I had like the best pancakes ever. The best pancakes ever. And then I watched it. I was like, I really sat there. I was like, so that's what y'all were all like laughing about. Granted, I was the one person. I was probably one of the very few people that didn't have a hangover. As Chase talked about Brooklyn doing Dante a favor, but he had rights and he could raise the kid himself. He didn't get that choice, and Chase didn't want to see that. Yo, Chase did. Yeah, Chase was out of pocket about that. I sat there was like, bro, you gotta lose your goddamn mind. See, and let me tell you something about this whole Chase and Finn from B&B. I understand you loving your wife. I understand you being devoted to your wife, but that doesn't mean you have to sit there and side with every goddamn thing that they say and do. Who the heck is Billy Flynn? Yeah, that's what we're all gonna sit there and find out together. I get that, Meta. I do. I get that. And like I said, listen, your opinion is your opinion. I respect you. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, like Hemsmith is saying, oh, well, he did you a favor. And I'm like, I mean, she did you a favor. I was like, bro, you really out of pocket for saying some dumb shit like that. You know, this is why I sit there and say, it's like, bro, you just letting this woman take your goddamn balls. Like, I was like, I mean, yeah, he did sit there and mention like, the reason why Gio don't have a good relationship with you, or you don't have a good relationship with Gio, is because the way that you treated him with the whole Rocco situation. And I'm like, yeah, Chase had a point when he said that, but let's screenshot that right. I will look it up after the stream. Uh, Oh, look it up. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, he was definitely out of pocket. Lisa says Not gonna happen. Ridge is her destiny. Yeah, I mean, she keeps Nichols saying this so many times, it just starts to get nauseating after a while. I have, Ryan. I have. I haven't actually, sometimes I don't get a lot of time to sit there and listen to music as much as I would like. I mean, to be honest, I don't really get a lot of time to do a lot of things. But, I have fun doing this and everything, so so, yeah, and he admitted it because he felt like he went too far with he felt like he went too far when he said that you're not a father, so you wouldn't understand. But in all reality, and he's not a father, so he wouldn't understand. And I get that he can't give Brooklyn kids, but don't sit there and try to come at him sideways talking about, oh, well, you went too hard because you're not a parent. That's just a fact. Robbie says, I don't recall Chase on GH and Fenn on both is that they chose to respect their wives and their feelings. Yeah, I get that, Laura B, but they tend to overdo it. It's one thing to it's hard to sit there and put into words, but let me try to explain it. It's not so much that they respect their wives' feelings, right? It's that, like with Finn, we'll use Finn as a classic example. You know, her was pretty. I don't understand. Oh yeah, I mean Brooklyn. No, Brooke is hot. Yeah, Brooke is hot. But like with Sheila, Finn is constantly being talked down to by Steph, and she says something, she puts her foot down, and he just practically says yes, ma'am. And I need him to sit there and give her a little more pushback instead of just obeying everything that she says. If he wants to have a relationship with Luna, he should be able to have a relationship with his daughter. But I don't like the fact that Steffi loves to talk for him. Steffi's like, well, he's not going to have a relationship with you. He's a grown ass man. He can sit there and answer for himself, but it feels like she is telling him, oh, you're not going to have a relationship with Sheila. And I get the history with Sheila. I do. But you don't tell you don't it's the same reverse. You don't sit there and tell I wouldn't respect Fenn for sitting there telling Steffi who she's allowed and not to have a relationship with. So it's not so much balls and stuff like that, but like in a sense, that's what I mean by that. And with Chase, using his badge, and that's the thing, Bobby, with Chase abusing his badge and Smith is saying to Lulu, oh well, if you do anything, if you say anything, then I'm gonna sit there and prosecute you and arrest you. Really? You don't think that Brooklyn could sit there and handle Lulu by herself? I understand you want to protect your wife, but Brooke's a big girl. She can handle that. She don't need Chase. First of all, what Chase did was out of pocket for Smith telling Lulu that she shouldn't sit there and write an article about adoption. It's her goddamn job, and she should be able to write whatever she wants without chasing it to saying, "Oh well, you're bothering my wife." So what? So goddamn what? Your wife is a grown ass woman. She should be able to sit there and handle it and get over it. Ron says, are there any characters that don't really interact but you would like to see become on GH? I gotta think about that. Uh, like I like Stella and Tracy's friendship. I gotta think about that's a good one. That's a good one, Ryan. I gotta think about that. Monique says, I met Michael Jordan's mother before and some old school bulls grand and oh nice. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Where'd you meet him at? You say you met them. Where'd you meet him at? And I get that, Laura B. And I do, but like I can see that too. I can see that too, Ryan. No, I mean Craig. Oh no, but where'd you meet him at? You know, Ryan, this week I was sitting there watch well in the members live stream, we were watching a scene between Vicky from One Life to Live and Luke Spencer. Um, way back then they did like a what if crossover. And they had different characters from different shows. So like one was Luke Spencer and Vicky, and there was another one where they had Jason from General Hospital and Greenlee from All My Children. Hopefully, yeah, you remember, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. And we were um, watching that this week or this weekend. Get to know me first. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, it's funny, Laura B. Um, this is something that Kyrie's brought up. So I'm gonna look into those scenes. Thank you. Yeah, some of the scenes I didn't see all of them, but I will look them up. Yeah, Laura B. Kyrie's brought up something that was interesting. So Eva used to play a character on All My Children. And apparently this I don't remember the character she played, but she was an interesting character. And since Natalia has been kind of a buzz, it would have made more sense for them to um, have Eva's character from All My Children join General Hospital. Because, technically speaking, General Hospital, One Let to Live, and All My Children are in the same universe. Like, they're going to be bringing back Erica Slazak, um, Vicky. I'm assuming Vicky. But, like, why didn't you just bring, I think her name was Maria or something like that? Why didn't you just bring Maria from All My Children? I mean, I didn't think that Natalia was actually, I think that she was terrible. And actually, tell you the truth, in the sense, I did like the daring approach of her being homophobic because let's be honest, not everyone in this world is, well, is tolerant. Well, not tolerant, but like is accepted, and that's reality. That's reality, right? So I like the fact that they went with a daring scene like that. Her cat, what? Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Lobby. That's just what I that's what Kyrie said. I was like, that's just an idea. Ron says, I hope that when Erica appears, she does so as Vicky Lord. I just found out that the paper Lulu works for is owned by Victoria. So that's okay. Yeah, I remember Todd used to be in the magazine business. Oh, thank you, Maria Santos. Okay, look her up. Oh, look, that chick up. Yeah, Lorby. I put out a video talking about Lucky's return, and it's kind of being a flop. And basically, Smith is saying like, you know, whose fault is it? Because I know the thing is, I know a lot of people were blaming the writers, but the thing is, Jonathan Jackson had a very inconsistent schedule. So while people want to sit there and blame the writing, I'm like, I don't think that people understand like writers can only write so much, depend on the network and the producers. So it's like I felt like the writers was getting blamed for stuff that, like in reality, Jonathan Jackson's schedule was a mess. And he even sat there and said that him coming back was an experiment. Bro, the only thing that you did was experiment with people's time. You experimented with the network's money. That's what you experimented with it. How do you? They really could have with Eva coming to yeah. Um, I don't know much about her. It'd be cool to sit there and see Erica Kane. Cool. I don't know what she's doing now. I got to sit there and look at her IBD or IMB or something. Yeah, I think it's called IMB. See what she got going on now. That's what I want to see. Exactly, Jonathan. And like I said in my review before, um, if this was anybody else other than Brooklyn, I don't think that she would have exposed the secret like that. But she takes no accountability and she acts like it's everybody else's fault when she did the right. She literally sat there and said, "I don't owe you an apology." I'm like, "Yo, what is wrong with this chick?" Ryan says, "I love Todd. I didn't really watch him while I live, and I know he did horrible things, but Todd made me laugh a lot on GH." Yeah, he was when he was Todd, he was definitely the comic relief, right? And that's more on Rogers' acting and his yeah, just his whole acting and everything. I know, I saw it. Let's see what that's about. They're gonna team up against the evil Drew. Oh my God, Drew's so evil. Uh, I don't know. Like I said, I found that shit. find that whole goddamn thing comical. That people sit there and get so. I guess you'd be happy that Drew gets to keep Lila's ring. I mean, as much as a family heirloom to him as it is to Michael. I stand by that. Corby says Christina clearly needs help with what I think is bipolar issues. She got shit going on with her. And the thing about Christina is that she doesn't learn from her mistakes. And her mom is usually the one that sits there. Um, Her mom is usually the one that has to sit there and pay the price or get her out of the trouble that Christina puts herself in. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing that annoys me. And then she makes a joke talking about, "Hi, my name is Christina. I'm the family screw up." And I'm like, "Girl, you've been screwing up a lot this year. Like within a year, you have screwed up twice, and your mother is still spent there covering for you. And you make this little stupid ass joke talking about, oh, I'm Christina. I'm the family screw up." I'm like, yeah, but you kind of are the family screw up. You don't learn. Your family keeps trying. Your family does what they can to get you out of trouble, just so that way you can get back into more trouble. Right? Like you cut someone's brakes, and then you sit there and you blame Ava talking about, well, she drove me to do it. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna sit there and act like you're not a grown ass adult. And part of me wants to use a real life scenario, but I know when I start using real life scenarios, people start, acting kind of funny. But let's just sit there and say there's another person that did something really horrible, that did something really horrible, and people are insisting that that person be let free because the institution drove that person to do it. Johnson says, "What do you think of Beyond the Gates?" Um, I like the Joey Vanessa stuff to some extent, and the Ashley and Andre stuff. I didn't care for Chelsea and Madison at all. I figured out why I don't like Chelsea. Um, Ashley is a time waster. She turns good men into assholes. Vanessa says a line that I'm still baffled by. I'm unfaithful, but I'm not disloyal. So I'll think about that for a hot minute. As says, how long do you think it's going to be before Beyond the Gates give us a court scene? Well, it depends on how fast they can actually make the set. Because they should have gave us a court scene with Naomi and Bill. That would have been great. And I think they knew that the fans would have wanted that, but I don't think that they actually had the scene or the money to sit there and build it. Ryan, it's very simple. Why I'm mocking. Well, I'm not mocking Michael. Let's be honest, right? I'm not mocking Michael. Okay, what I was doing was I was sitting there mocking the people that be so. Oh my God, I can't stand Drew. He's horrible. He's terrible. Because it's fiction. It's not that serious. And I feel like people tend to overdo it when they talk about how much they despise Drew, like he's a real person. So that's what I was actually sitting there mocking. Because at the end of the day, it's fiction. It's not serious. It's not meant to be serious. If you want to know. Lobby says, so she is clearly a danger to herself and others. It would help with the police if the car accident investigating. How would you feel if we made fun of you for disliking Nina? I dislike Nina. I don't hate Nina. You know, I sit there and say she's a dingbat, but I don't hate her. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't think I would care that much. As long as she wasn't sitting there being an absolute dick to me and sitting there saying, well, you're dumb because of whatever, like, you know, be honest, right? Like I said, it's fiction. It's not serious. I feel like people overreact, and I will stand about that. People getting that upset about a fictional character, I think y'all need to go out there. Exactly. That's what I'm snipping saying. Like, go out there and get some friends or some shit. Cut some grass. Meet some people. It's supposed to be fun and you know. Johnson says, I won't mention it here, but you remember the potential behind. Yes, I do. I was drinking, Jonathan. I wasn't drunk enough to like not remember what you said. I paid attention. Says, do you think Smitty's going to get a better story on my subjects for him that could lead him to find out about Jacob's dad? I think he's going to find out about Martin. I think he's going to find out something about Martin, and that's about it. Ryan says it's hard not to get emotionally invested when you've been watching for a while. I think that I think that people should be able to separate fact from. I think that people should be able to separate fantasy from reality. Right? I don't think that people should sit there and get so angry about a fictional character, about fictional characters. It's not. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be fun. Um, and I think if you start to get to that level of being so emotionally angry about stuff, you need to take a step back because that's not only that's not healthy, but like that's not what the show was meant for. That's not what these shows are meant for. You know. Tom says, "Who is better father by Jason or Drew when it comes to their kids?" I'm talking since um Jason, but not by a lot. Not by a lot. Not by a lot. Because like I said, Drew had a point. And I stand by this shit 100 goddamn percent. One of the things that will always sicken, well, one of the things that have sickened me, and this is something that Steve Burton has said, is that Jason has been a deadbeat dad. Okay? Jason has treated Michael better than his own two goddamn sons. Okay? And that will always be out of pocket for me. I don't give a shit about the reasons behind it. It will still always be an out of pocket thing. So yes, he is the better father, but not by much. Okay. I think you missed my point, Brian. And you missed my point on purpose commented about when I replied to your comment in my comment section, which again, clearly regret doing that. But yeah, he's trying now. But again, Drew had a point. You doing all this fighting for Michael and Carly. What about your own goddamn kids? Did you check up on Jake to sit there and see how he's doing? Where's Danny at? What happened to the punishment? Is he still checking in with you at 9 o'clock? Are you too busy sitting there fighting for for Michael's kids. We're not gonna no, fuck no, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not gonna do that. I am too, Laura B. No, I get what you're saying. Okay, okay. And it says Martin went after the waiter again. So do you think Martin's onto something, or is he having? No, I think he's definitely onto something. He's deflecting. Here we go. Yep, he's deflecting. How to say Danya and Jake? How to say how to say Danny and Jake is not keeping in touch with Jason? Okay. Yeah, like I said, that's always gonna be an out of pocket thing. Always, 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 always. You know, Ryan, that's a very interesting way of you looking at it. Yeah, that's a that's I don't even feel like lying. So I'm gonna choose not to even go there. Yes, and yeah, and I exactly, Ed, and well, you watched my review, so you know, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, yeah, he's not honoring Sam's final wishes either, and I've said that. But again, he wasn't wrong about Jason and his role of always protecting Carly's kids and looking at the Carly's kids and ignoring his own goddamn family. Of course, Ryan, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Um, but yeah, yeah, no, no, I agree with that. But uh, you know, I haven't actually did this in I felt like a while, and I guess I kind of haven't. Tuesday was the last day that I streamed. Tuesday was the last day that I streamed, and so you know, have a good night, Laura B. It was really great to see you, and I hope I get to see you in the next stream. You take care as well, Laura B. And Ed, you get a chance, my boy. You guys sit there and join the member stream. Really good at changing the subject. It says with Sonny and Carly and Michael first. I mentioned that before about that pissed me off about his character. Yeah, that's always been like the one thing that maybe I ignored when I was just watching the show. When I was just watching the show, that's one of the things I've always ignored, right? Because I was too busy, like, oh, Jason's a badass, Jason is this, Jason is that, da 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 da. And it was only until I started doing these reviews that I started seeing both sides of the character and being like, all right, I rock with Jason, but there's some shit that's just out of pocket. You know? And that's one of those things that has been out of pocket. just like with Sunny. You know, I was a huge Sunny fan. Oh my God, Sunny's awesome. Sunny can do no wrong. And now that I'm actually doing these reviews, and when Jack came in and he was meant to talk about Karen, I'm like, yo, Sunny was. I mean, I get it. 17 is legal in some states, but like, the fact that she came from a broken home. She came from a broken home. Uh, Came from a broken home. Put on a pole, 17 years old, and had blanky blank with her. Like that just it didn't sit right with me. And says I will find a way to get that to work because I do want to be a member. Just gotta find a way because YouTube give me problems with joining. Yeah, I keep forgetting. I guess I kind of do keep forgetting to look into that. Um, but yeah, I will do everything I can on my end to try to see how that could work. Ed, do you have my email address? Let me know if you have my email address because it's in my about my about section. Oh, what the hell am I doing? I'm doing all this on a, how am I? But yeah, that's my email. That's my email. So yeah, definitely hit me up. And I'll see what I can do to sit there and help my and see we can talk exactly what you're having problems with, and I can look into how to fix it. I definitely want you in the member stream. Definitely, definitely. All right, I do want to sit there and try to watch The Young and the Restless like a good copy before I go to bed. So I'm going to end the stream here. But I do want to thank everyone for joining though. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully I can get everything done between tonight and tomorrow. And sit there and do another stream. This week is going to be kind of crazy, so I'm going to do what I can to make sure these streams are going. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to go. But I do want to thank everyone for joining. Hell of a lot of fun. As always. Have a night, Ed. Have a night, Ryan. Have a good night, Monique. Have a night, Blackmon, Tom Tom, Jonathan, Amber, I'm at ahead, and Rihanna. Anybody else who I missed, you know exactly who you are. And hopefully, I will see you on tomorrow's stream. What, Ryan? That's actually not what Ed was saying. Let's not put words in Ed's mouth. I also feel like you're starting to be a little attacky, so I'm gonna need you to sit there and bring that down. Yeah, I'm not going into you got what I had to say. Why is YouTube acting like that? What's going on? There we go. Okay, that's Ryan. Let me know if you're still in the chat. Check on Carlos to see what he's doing. Damn. Is anyone actually is anyone still in the chat? Because like I don't see one person there like messaging or anything like that. Ryan, is anybody else in the chat? I don't know if YouTube is just acting up or whatever, but I want to make sure at least one person's in the chat. Still waiting for like one because I see 14 people in the chat. Like not one person has sat there and said anything. I want to see what's going on. If anybody's in the chat, message something. Okay, so Cherry, you're back in the chat. All right, I will deal with that issue tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone, and yeah, I will see ya in the next stream. Laters.